In this video, we're going to talk about applications in modeling with linear equations. Modeling is just fancy talk for word problems, so that's where we're going to start. We are going to look at steps to solving word problems. Now, this first section is pretty obvious because it is read the problem. So everyone thinks, well, okay, read the problem, that makes sense. But the key to this is that you need to read it at least 3 times. Where I find people struggle the most with word problems is they don't understand what's being asked. So before you write anything down, the very first time you go through and you read the problem without trying to solve it. The first thing you want to do is figure out the goal. The goal is the question at the end of the problem. What are you trying to accomplish? What is this thing asking for? That's what your goal is, and you never know on math problems until the very end. So that's why you don't write anything down at the beginning till the very end of the problem whenever you figure out what your goal is. Oops, I meant to underline that. So the second time through, you pick out the information. Once you figure out what your goal is, now you know what information needs to relate to that. So if Sally has 5 hats, but they're talking about her going and eating subs at Sub Shop, no one cares about that. My question is, how many hats does Sally have? I want to work with her hats. So any extraneous information I know is out, and you don't have to mess with that. The third time through, just because you'll be starting and stopping a lot on the second time through, just check the information. Did you write down everything that you were supposed to write down? Does it all make sense? And now you're ready to get started. This is algebra, so with algebra, we have to identify the variable with a let statement. And that is simply, you write the word let, and then, depending on what you're talking about, typically people like to go with the standard x is equal to the number of hats or whatever it is at your goal. Typically, your let statement deals directly with your goal because that's your unknown. Your variable is simply an unknown. So that's what we're trying to find. What is my unknown? What are we looking for here? And that's my goal. Then you write an equation. Well, this is algebra, so you write an equation and solve it. Once you solve it, you come up with x equals some number. Hey, guess what? You did a let statement, so you know what x represents by the time you go through and you solve this problem. Once you're finished, you got to bring it home. When you bring it home, you write what's called a therefore statement. A therefore symbol is a triangle of dots. So you'll say, therefore, Sally has 5 hats, or whatever you end up. Your therefore statement is directly related to your unknown, which is also directly related to your goal. So that's why you have to figure out your goal first, because as you work through the problems, the goal identifies what information you pull out when you read the problem. It also is typically the variable that you set up. Then it's your therefore statement at the end. You're just basically rewriting your goal. Awesome. Let's get started.